clarity. You're clear about what you want to manifest in your life. You're clear about what kind of relationship you may want to have. You're clear about who you are. You're focused on what? Thriving forward. You're focused on making sure that your overall well-being is on point. Okay? It's not about the narcissist anymore. This is about you. Where are you? Right? So when you're focused and you have clarity, this goes right into you're having conviction. What the heck do you really care about? Right? What's on your priority list in your life? You have children? Are you married? Do you have a significant other? Are you, are you engaged? Is there some special people? Are there special people in your life? Okay, because they kind of count on you too. You may count on them, but they probably count on you too. So when you are feeling better, guess what? They benefit. Okay, so being focused and clear and having conviction is very powerful because this will naturally give you the boost of confidence you need to use your voice.
Gaslighting, sadly, becomes your normal in one of these relationships. And you're doing your self-education, right? You're learning about these various toxic dynamics and tactics and all of that. And you're getting even better at detecting them. Gaslighting by design messes with your head. It leaves you with a sort of permanent state of self-doubt. You're thinking through all the angles to figure out if you're not responsible in some way, wanting to record and write and ensure you commit to memory what happened so you can unpack it later, cross-check it against the evidence. Maybe you go to therapy to figure out, is this me? Or you're so confused, right? Or whether the gaslighter is the one who's right. And to find out from the therapist, is there something wrong with you? But there's one gaslighty phrase that we often don't unpack. And I can see that it might be one of the most nefarious and awful of all because of the downstream effects. Are you ready for what this gaslighting line is? You might even drop it in the comments if you think you know what it is. No one is going to believe you. So let's set this up as an example. You confront the narcissistic person, never a good idea, but you do, about something they did. Let's go big. Your friend saw your partner kissing or otherwise behaving inappropriately with another person at a bar. They even show you a grainy picture they managed to take before your friend got out of there. You confront your partner denies it, tells you you are insane, and then they say, no one is going to believe you. Or, try another scenario. You have a narcissistic parent who everybody actually thinks is a perfectly fine person, maybe even be generous or takes care of people in the family financially, whatever it is they do that makes people think that they're okay. But you know how invalidating they are. One day, you're having an argument or a confrontation, and you let that family member, the parent, know, I am done. I am finally going to tell certain people in the family that you've lied about this or that. And that narcissistic parent turns to you and says, no one is going to believe you. This tactic works for narcissistic people who are really good at wearing their masks in public, but being so careful and not being seen when they take that mask off in private. So they really are able to maintain a very gregarious and validation-seeking public face. It may be that people like this, they meet this person in your life, they think they're generous. They might be awed by their power. They think this is just a great person who has it all together. They're cool. They may be impressed by their success. But basically, and this is why this whole narcissism thing is such a mind F, is that lots of people may actually really admire and adore this narcissistic person. They may literally think they're upstanding, righteous, just super great, cool, awesome people. And at the same time, lots of people who are in narcissistic and gaslighting relationships, especially before you figure out what is going on, figure out what's happening to you, you may be sliding into your own despair.
You already know where that narcissist stands with you. You're not trying to figure out where you stand with them. And again, that's much more powerful, right? So don't be afraid to start using your voice. Just take baby steps, practice.
You may feel increasingly anxious, sad, reassurance-seeking, confused, helpless, self-blaming, self-doubting. Most survivors pre-knowing about narcissism do believe that there's something very wrong with they themselves. And if they have the bad luck of encountering, for example, a therapist who doesn't understand narcissistic abuse, that can only magnify that, or it could be an HR person, whoever. In addition, lots of people in narcissistic relationships become quite isolated and cut off from other people. They may become distanced from friendships or other sources of support. This comment, no one will believe you, out the gate, would paint you sort of as being delusional, right? As though anything you say to other people will sound psychotic to other people. And that dismantling of you, no one's going to listen to you, no one's going to believe you. That's what qualifies a statement like this, not only as gaslighting, but really, really pernicious gaslighting. Meanwhile, the narcissistic person may continue to go through the world as a grandiose raconteur, accumulating successes and admiration and friends and adulation. So when the day comes that you do call the narcissistic person out on anything, for them to push back and say that no one's going to believe you, well, that can actually ring true for you and magnify the helplessness, hopelessness, powerlessness, sadness, and anxiety you feel in this relationship.
When you think about being in a narcissist relationship, isn't that one of the first things that's violated? Trust. Okay, so the narcissist already out the gate, they don't trust. Signs of growth and acceptance. Okay, facing the reality and taking off the rose-colored glasses. Okay, so sometimes that can be very scary. Right there. Okay, what am I taking off the rose-colored glasses for? Some people prefer to keep them on. Not just because it matches their outfit maybe, right? But because they're more comfortable. Okay, they're accustomed to not using their voice. They're comfortable with being lost in the sauce. Okay, so when a person starts to accept that they're outgrowing the narcissist relationship, at first it's scary because they're very familiar with having that relationship. Signs of growth and acceptance. Signs number 1, you do not feel emotionally safe. Once you start to realize that you're not emotionally safe with a narcissist, you're probably going to have a huge reality check, a huge wake-up call. Emotional safety can be important in order to obtain trust. Yeah, that part. But the narcissist has already violated your trust, perhaps several times. Perhaps you have lost count. Okay, so just remember, this goes with any relationship. You're going to have to feel some, there's going to have to be some stability. There's going to have to be some safety, even when it pertains to your
So
support.
what does a gaslighter do?
Cases, the narrative doesn't get blown, right? The person has to live in this horrible uncertainty. The world doesn't find out. People are still doubting you. So this was an extraordinary circumstance because now it's been blown up. What happens to the gaslighter? The shame means that they're going to be on the attack. They're going to try to make themselves look good. This isn't who I really am. You're judging me unfairly. They will immediately go into a defensive position. Gaslighters defend. Gaslighting is not lying. There's a difference.
Okay, break that down.
Everybody thinks, oh, you're just talking about lying. No, we're not. Because you can bring a liar around if you bring evidence. So if you said, I wasn't there. And I'm like, Jada, you were there. And then I said, Jada, here's a picture of you there. And you're like, you know what, Ramani? Yeah, I didn't tell you the truth because I didn't want you to know you weren't invited, okay?
Right.
So a liar will cop to it when you give them the evidence.
Whoa.
A gaslighter will double down on their deceit when you catch them, and they'll turn it into you're crazy. So if you were gaslighting me, Jada, you'd say, wow, so girlfriend's paranoid now too. You need to get some mental health help because only a paranoid fool would be showing me a picture of where I'm at. So now it's become about me being crazy rather than you lying about being in that place. And most people in my position will be, I'm not crazy. But by now we've moved off the story of you having been at that place.
Oh my goodness.
That's gaslighting.
When you're feeling anxious, right? And you're feeling just like you don't really have anything to hold on to, it's very easy to start to believe, unfortunately, what the narcissist is saying. When they're pulling a telekinesis, for instance, then they're gaslighting. Okay? And therefore, that may mean that the narcissist is more than likely telling all these fantasies, these lies. Unfortunately, some victims, some of those who are in the narcissist relationship, they're going to want to believe those things. Why? Because they don't feel emotionally safe, and they want to. They want some stability. They want the validation. They want the love. They want the respect. So, unfortunately, the narcissist will play on that, and they will exploit. Once a person if they decide to express, the narcissist will get busy exploiting. So emotional safety is very important, right? Because the narcissist has betrayed your trust. They have violated your trust. They have perhaps betrayed you in other ways. That's also reflective of there not being any emotional stability in that relationship. The narcissist doesn't emotionally regulate anyway. They lack empathy. So it all adds up. You know, the narcissist relationship lacks emotional security or emotional stability, period. So it's going to be hard for a person to feel safe in that relationship. But it can be very scary once that reality hits. Sign number 2, give yourself permission. When you start to give yourself permission to say no, this one is going to be probably really tough for a lot of people because the narcissist often does not take no for an answer. And how do you know that? They start delivering the silent treatment. And I went over already what the ultimate silent treatment is. Okay, so they start working on the person anyway. Yeah, mentally, emotionally, sometimes even financially. A person may be embarrassed to even let anyone know that they were in a narcissist relationship. So your standards, okay, all of that goes to using your voice. Because when you start vocalizing that, people are going to learn how to treat you. People are going to learn more about you. It's a way that you are expressing your entire essence, yourself. Who are you? Where are you? Do you know where you've been?